Most riders won't survive it in the way they expect. Think you can? Here's how to ride La Marmotte properly. I have been riding and guiding cyclists on La Marmotte since 2008, and it still teaches me something new every year. Over the next few minutes, I'll break down what this route is all about and how it really feels in reality. 177 kilometres, 5,000 metres of climbing, and a finish on the 21 bends of Alpe d'Huez. This is La Marmotte, one of the most toughest and most iconic sportives on the cycling calendar. Every year up to 7,000 cyclists line up in Bourg, ready to test themselves on a classic alpine parcours. On paper it's beautiful, the Col du Glandon, Telegraphe, Galibier, and finally Alpe d'Huez. In reality it's a test of pacing, strategy, and most importantly, mental strength. The challenge isn't just the climbs, it's the order they come in, the massive descents and the false flats. I split this ride up into 4 chapters. The opening battle, the steady hold, epic test, and the final showdown. Will you make it through all 4? Okay, La Marmotte starts in Bourg and finishes in Alpe d'Huez. Accommodation is available in both locations if you can find it. Accommodation books up quickly for the event. Riders staying in Alpe d'Huez can descend down the 21 bends of Alpe d'Huez in the morning, although because of the start time, it can be a little chilly. If I were you, I would bring a jacket to descend in, which you don't mind discarding before the race starts. Equally, for those staying in the valley, the 21 bend descent at the end of the day is absolutely fantastic, and in my opinion is the better way of descending Alpe d'Huez. Okay, chapter 1, the Col du Glandon. The Glandon climb profile shows 21 kilometres to the top at 1,924 metres. On paper it seems manageable. In reality it's a 2-part climb with a switchback descent halfway through. The first part of the climb is up to Rivière de Allemant. This part is steep and relentless and not particularly exciting. It'll quickly test your legs and your pacing strategy. Don't try and follow faster riders. A quick local tip, there are a couple of water fountains in Rivière d'Allemant where you can top up your water for free. After a brief and beautiful switchback descent, the real climbing of the Col du Glandon starts. This sector goes up to the Grand Maison down. It's short, steep, and probably the toughest part of the whole ride. And if it's your first time in the Alps, you will start to realise what you have decided to do. Beyond the dam, it flattens out a bit and you have a steady climb up to the summit of the Col du Glandon. Once you summit the Col du Glandon, you will find a feed station. I usually avoid this because it is very busy. The section from the top of the Glandon down to the valley is neutralised, and for good reason. It's a long technical descent with consequences. At the base you arrive in Saint-Étienne-de-Quin, and from here it's an undulating road, first to Saint-Jean-de-Maurienne and then Saint-Michel-de-Maurienne. As you pass by Saint-Jean-de-Maurienne, be aware of some railway tracks on the road. Every year this catches out riders, especially if it's a little wet. A small lapse of judgment here could finish your La Marmotte Sportive. After Saint-Jean-de-Maurienne, the road doesn't climb much, but it is a climb. Don't underestimate this stretch. Get in a group, stay in a group, recover, eat and drink, because what's coming next is the Col du Telegraphe and the Col du Galibier. Chapter 2, the Col du Telegraphe. The Col du Telegraphe is a 12-kilometre climb with a steady gradient. It feels comfortable after the Glandon, and if you pace yourself, shouldn't be too much problem. At the summit there is a quick descent down into the Valois, which again will give you a brief chance to refuel before the giant of the day. You will find permanent water stops at the bottom and the top of the Col du Telegraphe. If you are finding this video useful and would like a free copy of my La Marmotte map for your smartphone, leave a comment below. The map highlights the climbs, permanent water stops and other infrastructure like bike shops, supermarkets and cafes. Chapter 3, the Col du Galibier. Then comes the mythical Col du Galibier, the highest point on the route and a true alpine giant. From the Telegraphe Valois, the ascent is approximately 16 or 17 kilometres, averaging 6 or 7%. But beware, it really ramps up in the last couple of K. This is where La Marmotte separates the reckless riders from the smart riders. Once you go past the Marco Pantani Memorial, you are really into the climb. Altitude starts to affect your breathing and heart rate, just as the gradient steepens more. Once at the summit of the Galibier, you've got a lovely descent down to the Col du Lautaret. Again, this descent is technical and is dangerous, so be prepared. The Galibier also has its own little microclimate, so although it might be sunny in the valley, on top of the Col du Galibier, it could be wet, cold, windy, and on occasions it's even snowed. Right, the descent down the Col du Lautaret, this is where a lot of people make a mistake. You're already tired, but you've got a long downhill section that on paper looks easy, but it's not. And it's not for two reasons. Reason one, there's always a headwind on this section. Reason two, there are some big, long, dark, wet tunnels. Bring some lights. From the top of the Galibier to the bottom of Alpe d'Huez is roughly 50 kilometres. Most of this is downhill, but there are a couple of little kickers in there as well. Recover where you can. Stay in a group. Don't overexert yourself. Let other people do the work. And if you want to go deeper, check out my video on the 8 mistakes most riders make during La Marmotte. It'll save you a ton of time and energy when you arrive. I've also created a short flyover video of La Marmotte route where you can also download the GPX file. Both of these videos are in the description below. And if you're staying in the area for a bit longer, then I have a whole cycling in the oisans playlist, from flat warm-up rides to massive hidden gravel cols in the area. Again, that's in the description below. So carry on watching this video and check those out at the end. And finally, we come to the last chapter, the climax of La Marmotte Sportive, the 21 bends of Alpe d'Huez. This is the climb that defines La Marmotte. Every bend is a milestone, and you'll have the delight of counting each bend as you go up. Coming at the end of 177 kilometres with 5,000 metres of climbing, it's not just a climb, and this is where people really suffer. Will your pacing from the first 3 chapters get you up this climb, or will fatigue win the day? For more information on the 21 bends, check out my dedicated video, link in the description again. So, La Marmotte Sportive, it isn't just a ride, it's a journey. 4 chapters, each demanding everything you've got. Respect the climbs, pace yourself, and the mountain will reward you. Disrespect the climbs, don't pace yourself, the mountains will kick you out.